A fourth-tier football club just did something Manchester United had never let happen in over 100 years. Not against Liverpool, not against City, against a team 3 divisions below them, in front of 9,000 fans in the pouring rain, on a Wednesday night nobody will ever forget. This is the story of how Grimsby Town, sitting in League 2, the 4th tier of English football, walked into their tiny stadium and tore Manchester United apart. Blundell Park holds barely 9,000 people. It's the kind of ground where you can hear individual fans shouting from the other end. And when the draw paired Grimsby with United, everyone assumed it would be a night of survival for the home side. 22 shots, a comfortable win, a few nice photos for the club museum. Nobody told Grimsby that. United's manager Ruben Amorim rotated his squad but still fielded 9 full internationals, a keeper who cost tens of millions, and a striker signed for over £70 million just weeks earlier. On paper, this wasn't a contest, it was a formality. But formalities don't account for belief, and Grimsby had it in abundance. Within 22 minutes, Charles Vernam had the ball in the net. The home end erupted. A club that once knocked out Liverpool and Tottenham decades ago suddenly remembered what giant killing felt like. United barely had time to reset before it happened again. A mistake from their own goalkeeper handed the ball straight to a Grimsby player, and this time it was even more painful. Tyrell Warren, a kid who actually came through United's own academy, punished his old club and doubled the lead. Half-time score, Grimsby 2, Manchester United nothing. A Premier League side in a stadium a quarter the size of their own, being outclassed by part-timers. Before we get into the second half collapse and the shootout that broke records, if you're enjoying underdog stories like this one, hit subscribe now because we cover moments like this every week and you don't want to miss the next one. So how does a club like this claw back from 2 goals down against 9 internationals? They didn't, at least not straight away. Grimsby kept coming. They had chances to make it 3, chances that would have ended the tie as a contest completely. United looked shaken, sloppy, a team that had no answers for the pressure of playing somewhere this small and this loud. Then, slowly, cracks started to show on the other side too. Amorim threw on his big names from the bench, Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount, and in the 75th minute, one of United's new signings finally found something. Bryan Mbeumo drilled home his first goal for the club. Suddenly the noise at Blundell Park changed. Grimsby's fans went quiet for the first time all night. Could their fairy tale actually slip away in the final minutes? It very nearly did. In the 89th minute, deep into stoppage time territory, up popped the most unlikely hero of all. Harry Maguire, a player who has spent years being mocked, memed, and written off by his own supporters, rose above everyone and headed United level. 2-2. From 2 goals down to level with a minute to spare. It looked like the great escape was complete. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Levelling the score didn't save United. It just delayed the inevitable. The game went 2 penalties, and what followed was one of the longest shootouts English football has ever witnessed. Spot kick after spot kick, both sides refusing to blink. United even had a golden chance to win it outright after Grimsby's 5th taker missed, but their own player was denied by a brilliant save. Then it just kept going. 15 penalties in a row went in without a single miss. 15. Players who had never taken a competitive penalty in their careers were walking up in front of a packed, screaming stand with the biggest shock in years hanging on their boot. 26 penalties later, it finally happened. Bryan Mbeumo, the same player who'd scored United's first goal to spark the comeback, stepped up again in sudden death. His shot cannoned off the crossbar. It didn't go in. Grimsby Town had done it. 12-11 on penalties. A League 2 side, 3rd-string budget and all, had knocked Manchester United out of a cup competition for the very first time in the club's entire history against a team from that low down the football pyramid. The last time anything close to this happened was over 100 years ago in 1914, and even that wasn't quite the same level of shock. Grimsby's own player summed it up perfectly afterwards, calling it a feeling that would live with him forever, and you can understand why. This wasn't a fluke scoreline against a weakened youth team. This was a full-strength defeat, live on television, with United's manager left to publicly tear into his own players afterwards as the club's crisis deepened in real time. For United, the questions didn't stop there. This was a team already without a win in their opening matches of the season, coming off a rough finish the year before, and now facing a manager whose job security was suddenly the biggest story in English football. A cup exit to a 4th-tier side isn't just embarrassing, it's the kind of result that changes conversations in boardrooms. And here's the part that makes this story even stranger. Grimsby's fairy tale didn't last. Just a couple of months after beating one of the biggest clubs on the planet, they were dumped out of the very same competition themselves, thumped 5-0 by Brentford in the next round. The team that beat Manchester United got beaten just as heavily themselves. So which version of Grimsby was the real one? The side that outfought 9 full internationals in the rain at Blundell Park? Or the one that collapsed weeks later against a mid-table Premier League club? Maybe the answer is that on one specific night, none of that mattered. For 90 minutes and 26 penalties, a club 3 divisions below Manchester United believed harder than they did, and that was enough to write themselves into the history books forever. If you want to see how the fallout from this night actually played out for United's season, that story is coming next. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.